Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. It is spooky season. Halloween is nigh. And in this video, considering the season, I want to ask, who exactly is the scariest fighting game character? Now, there's lots of scary things in fighting games. Like, we have dive kicks. We got throw loops. But that's scary because fighting games are inherently the most terrifying of all genres. In this video, we want to focus on the characters. And in a lot of games, we certainly have a lot of characters that are spooky coded, right? Halloween themed, wizard, witches, warlocks, whatever have you. But they're not necessarily scary in and of themselves, right? So let's focus on the characters that are actually just scary for a scary season. And let's start with one of the classics in fighting games. So the first character we gotta talk about if we're talking scary characters in fighting games has to be Hisako. So Hisako is very much in the scary Japanese ghost vein. It's certainly something that's been done, right? It's an archetype of horror, if you will. You can even find it in other horror games, like say Zappa in Guilty Gear. He has a very effective Sadako style of Japanese ghost horror, right? So Hisako is very effective at just the aesthetic, like just the walk, right? Her walk speed is glacial. Like, it is among the worst walks in fighting game history. Although, it's effective for the character, right? It's a very menacing. Doubly so, when you just take her walks as it is, right? Then you take, say, her movement. Her movement gets faster, and especially, say, her forward dash is a straight-up jump scare. Because we go from this very slow movement to that. And that is also very effective in the Japanese horror archetype, right? Just something slow coming at you, then all of a sudden just screaming towards you, right? And she does that very, very well. So just on a purely look, aesthetic, movement basis, everything already is a home run for a scary character. And her moveset also very much helps with that. Like say one of her command grabs. So she can like basically impale you on her staff or spear, right? Just like kind of teleport behind you, horror style, and just shove you into it for a gruesome, you know, Friday the 13th style death. And also, she can get very like heavily distorted in her look and just kind of bring you in. And if she gets you, she can effectively possess you and break all your bones in your body, right? That's a scary way to go out for sure. Just purely like on a design level, everything about Hisako is just a complete home run. She looks super cool. She animates very well. Like the entire thing they're going for, it just works. It's very effective, and I love her as a character. So scary character, she's absolutely on the list. Now, next up we have the character Kusaregedo. So Kusaregedo, just, you know, by the look of him, you can tell something's up, right? So he was a cannibal who became so obsessed with eating human flesh that he basically became a demon. So he's got big pot belly, all sorts of deformities, including, you know, the ever-feared male pattern baldness. And yeah, he's a nasty looking dude, right? And a lot of the moveset is very much in line with that. He's not exactly the nicest guy. He's very literally here to kill you and eat you. Now, to put that into perspective here, there is a lot of aspects of the character that is certainly comedy coded. Like say his forward kick here. Like if he whiffs, he literally just like lands on his butt. Even if it connects, he lands on his butt, right? Like he has one very silly move. So this is the mud mash. This is one of the most complex motions you'll ever see in any fighting game. Down forward, half circle forward, reverse dragon punch motion BC, right? So for such a complex move, what's our reward for like getting this, all right? Is this like a geese raging demon? Well, not quite. He has a smile there and a laugh, and he literally throws a piece of poop on you. Like he reaches into his butt and he throws a piece of poop on you. So that aspect is certainly not the most serious, right? But even with the comedy elements, he's here to kill you and eat you, straight up. He is not nice about it. Some of his storylines, especially chasing little girls, gets You could say uncomfortable, especially considering some of the translation of the time. You know, some of it is affecting of the character, like this is how depraved the character is, and some of it was, well, humor of the time. Let's put it that way, right? Like, he has a move where he will just straight up devour you. Like, there's silly aspects of the character, but he will kill you and eat you, right? In fact, in most versions of the game, this is censored a bit, because, you know, you don't want to show the nastiness, right? But he'll eat you up and then kind of literally spit you out and say, you know, thanks for the meal. So regardless of some of the sillier aspects of the character, he is definitely a very nasty dude. So next up, we have to talk about Havik in Mortal Kombat. So Havik just straight up is one of the most disgusting characters ever put in like any video game, let alone fighting games. As a character, he's a nasty dude from Chaos Realm. Kind of wants a lot of chaos, which is usually nobody's best business, right? But then there's the part where like all of his bones and like blood are everywhere. These are just basic attacks. These aren't even special. And like his limbs are literally coming off the bone as he's just kicking around. Ever wanted to get a low angle while uppercutting somebody? Well, how about we get the lowest angle, breaking our ankles to do so. To the point, even his most basic throw, he rips his own head off, breaks it into your head, and just regenerates a new head along the way. His uppercut, he rips off his own arm to beat you across the face with it, and then just gets rid of it and grows a new arm. In fact, there's a lots of parts of his moveset where he'll just rip off his own various body parts to beat you with it. Like he can send his own heart out as an exploding projectile with you. One of his key launchers is more just ripping off his various body parts. He has boiling blood to breathe on you, right? But there's this pesky jaw in the way. So how about I rip off the bottom of my jaw to make sure I can puke on you more effectively, right? Just the act of swinging and punching at you, right? There's the whole problem of human anatomy in the way. So what if my spine just breaks so I can just twist at you with as much punches as possible? Maximum rotation. Like, he's a scary guy. Like, that's why on this Halloween stage, there's an animatronic of Havik, right? Because you need a scary dude. So, a character that the laws of reality just simply do not apply to in the grossest possible way. That's why he's on our list. For our next character, let's move over to Relius Clover. So, for the BlazBlue franchise, you might think the obvious pick is Arakune, right? And Arakune is certainly like weird and gross in a lot of ways, right? Just how he moves around, there's a lot of various moveset here, lots of skeletons, lots of bugs. Like, it's just a whole cavalcade of stuff, right? And that's fine. But the thing is that Relius has over someone like Arakune is he's a lot more sinister of a character. Like, hey, let's have a family reunion here. So father, son, daughter, and wife. There's some family problems to say the least. I'm talking, let's go like full on Full Metal Alchemist here, right? Let's just start putting people's souls in things and let's figure out how it goes. Now the thing is with a lot of characters where the lore says they're bad is it doesn't really ever reflect itself in the gameplay too much, right? Like we have characters like, say, Freeman from Goro Mark of the Wolves. It is explicitly stated he's a serial killer, right? But you don't get much out of that just by the moveset. We have Vega from Street Fighter. Vega, if his moveset reflected what his lore is, like Vega's a straight up serial killer and like killed lots and lots of people, but it's never reflected in game. Usually he's bouncing off walls. Someone like Relius, it can be reflected in game. We get hints, but it shows just how messed up this guy is, because he's a mad scientist without any compulsions or any respect for human life. You're just all meat puppets to him to experiment on. And you can get that by his astral finish here. Like, one, this is his own son he's stringing up like this, right? There's blood on the walls. You can see like the silhouette of corpses hanging in the background. And the thing is, he actually has unique astral finishes for everyone in the cast, right? Some can be a little bit funny. Some can be a little bit more messed up, like he straight up crucifies Ragna. That's usually a good way to show that you don't like somebody. But yeah, for a lot of characters, like, oh, this guy's a bad guy, Relius say he's a bad guy, mad scientist, all that kind of stuff. But he's one of the few characters where you can see it reflected in game, like the depravity of it all, right? And I do enjoy that. And if only for that reason he makes this list and makes this video, because normally the fighting games, they don't necessarily go there when it comes to movesets. And to end up here, what I think lays claim to the scariest character is in Darkstalkers, and of course, we were going to wind up on Darkstalkers, right? It's the horror fighting game, despite the fact there hasn't been a new Darkstalkers in many years. They have some of the most iconic characters that have truly stood the test of time. And despite this entire roster, we're going to talk about one character, and that is QB. So why QB, right? Of all characters, QB, if you just take her at face value, is sort of sexy anime B lady, right? And of course, you know, Darkstalkers is a series known for the ladies. But the thing is, QB is deceptively sinister. She is not what she presents. Yes, cute anime character sure on his face, but then hey, let's look at the face, right? Let's zoom in a little bit here. QB is not what she presents herself as, because that face you're looking at here, this part right here, is not the character. Go up a little bit, that is the character. The part that's a face is a fakery. It's a deception. It is there to draw you in and lull you into a false sense of security. The bits up above, those are the real eyes, right? And that just kind of tells you the kind of character she is. Like, there's lots of bees. Like, that part's not too crazy, right? Lots of bees, lots of sting, sure, right? But the thing is, that's exactly it. There's a lot of bees. And she is just one of many. And in fact, she herself is disposable. She has one of the most just disgusting moves ever. And that's her attack grab. So what just happened there, right? Well, she grabbed you, and just like, you know, any bee, when she hits you with the stinger, she falls off and dies. And in this cocoon that she built, right, a new QB is born. You play out the match as a completely different character than the one you started as. The other QB is dead. And just like, you know, some of the more particularly unfortunate species of wasps, the newborn will just bust out right from like your guts, right? And that's just one of the really like disgusting things about her. Of course, there's other fun, like, you know, honey. You're a bee, gotta have all sorts of honey. Like, she still is a silly character, but I just like that sinister veneer just under the surface. Like, there's so much more than just as she is presented. The thing about QB is she's presented as kind of simple and stupid, right? Just hungry, eat, eat, eat. And that's the thing, is she's actually quite powerful. And if left to her own devices, she'll not only just make the demon realm and earth realm extinct, they'll basically just eat themselves into extinction, right? They don't really have long-term plans. So yes, lots of cool, fun little bee attacks, you know, in an anime style. And when it comes to, you know, the terror of fighting games and all that, she has some of the nastiest, like, instant overheads in fighting game history. Like, you're not blocking this stuff in a reaction. But I always love the idea of just the base presentation of the character is there to fool you. This is not what the character actually is. And once you just dig down one layer deep, it gets really disgusting and disturbing. And I'm a big fan of that. So that's the video. And I just want to highlight some of the spookier characters in fighting games for spooky season. Of course, it's not an exhaustive list, right? There's plenty other great characters. We have people like Voldo from Soul Calibur. We have Mighty Leopoldin from Guilty Gear. But as a genre, fighting games have so much more to offer than just, you know, Karate Man and Kung Fu Girl, right? So I want to use this video to highlight some of those, considering it is the season. And that said, my friends, that is the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.